What is going on, guys? Welcome to Double Tap. This is Mash Those Buttons podcast dedicated to the FGC. I am, of course, your host. Don't adjust your TV sets here if you're checking us out on Twitch or on YouTube. My camera is down because I do not have my glasses and I just don't have my face on for you guys, so I'm just going to put it right here. I am, of course, Crash, and with me, as per usual, we've got someone that does have their glasses, clearly mocking me. Static Gorilla.
It's LA Knight to you, buddy.
Okay, Mr. LA Knight. And
yeah.
And we got Mezza. Mezza's in the
What's
building.
up, guys?
We're back. We're back. Another week. We are a little later in the week. This is being recorded on the 1st of November. Happy belated Halloween, aka for my real ones, Doomsday. Rip MF Doom, one of the best artists to ever do it. But yeah, we're a little late. We got into the candy. At least I got into a little bit of the candy. I got a little sick. Bezel's feeling a little out of it, so we had to push the show back a little. And Static was out of state. He was just out of state and forgot to tell us. So we had to push back the show, but we appreciate it. We're still gonna be doing it this week. We still got plenty to cover. He's got the roller coaster pictures to show where he was on the camera there. Oh my God! All right, you got he's got all the souvenirs. All right, let's get into it though. This is, of course, Double Tap. This is a podcast dedicated to everything and anything in the fighting game community. We've got, you know what? I'm happy we did belate it a little bit. We ended up getting some nice treats. This ain't no trick that has happened within actually leaving the last 24 hours this week. So let's just jump right into it. So let's start with a game we haven't done the forefront in a while, and there's, of course, Guilty Gear. More specifically, some Strive. We've gotten last night we had a panel, which I actually can't even like recall what the name of the panel was, or the event for that matter. It was in French, so I didn't really pop up on my feeds, but nothing too crazy showed up out of it, except for a couple of key points that also ended up being in the developer backyard, which we'll get into afterwards. The main thing you want to know about, of course, is that we've got our updates, that we still got season 3 happening. Johnny's been out. We've got the adjustments that have been made. So they're kind of clarifying a couple things that they're going to be looking into patching up or fixing a little bit. The Flex Shield, Wild Assault, some tweaking, and some bug fixes and all, right? And thinking, okay, cool. We're expecting our next character in December. I don't know if they meant announcement or they actually meant release. I'm pretty sure it's release, is from what it shows on the actual image itself, I believe. But regardless, we're expecting a new character December to come through. But on top of that, the biggest thing that got shown, which is the part that's kind of blowing a lot of us away, is their intentions of updating certain characters. And what I mean by that is that we got to see basically a new move for Potemkin. Actually, this is we already got people tracking the frame data. But we've got a new Potemkin move that has been shown off. They showed it at the end of the panel itself. And the new move, I think it's called it's not Heat Knuckle. It's like Knuckle, but they called it something else. I just can't remember it off the top of my dome. But this move basically is kind of like the air, not the headbutt, not the rock. It's called something else too. Okay, I'm forgetting the stride.
Butt slam?
No, he has the butt slam. He had in Exert. He had it was like a rocket.
Oh, yeah.
I forget what it was called.
It kind of also reminds me of like where you used to have the splash. I mean, he obviously has it in this, but like that's what it kind of like seems like, a little bit like the splash, a little bit, but like airborne.
Yeah,
but it hit you.
Yeah. So this has armor. So this is what it looks like. It's a 12. A 12. So it's called Heat Tackle. There we go. Heat Tackle. It is a what looks like 11 to 12 frame grounded move. And it has armor to boot. They showed it off. I don't know if it's in this particular clip. I mean, I would assume it's this clip because they showed here with armor, going up against that Asuka, obviously putting the meteor up in the air, and has great corner carry. It is essentially 50 tension kind of neutral skip move, right? Like with the momentum and all, there's already going to be mad shenanigans. This is really cool. This is actually something that Pot was missing, very early on when we realized he didn't have it. He became a much more, aside from his actual, when he approaches forward. Oh man, I'm losing all
head smash.
It was a head smash.
You're talking about the double fist,
forward.
right? The double fist, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
Hammer
Fist.
the command dash?
Hammer fist. Thank you. God,
Yeah.
Hammer fist, Hammerfall. Hammerfall, I believe, was the other. Was the move from Exert. But Hammer Fist is the one where he actually does. So that's like his only mobility, right? It's the only move that gives him any kind of mobility. Now he has something that, so far, like I said, it looks grounded. We don't know if this is air okay. If it was, that's kind of crazy. But maybe if it's air okay, it doesn't have armor. Because if it had armor on both, it'd be kind of wild.
I wonder if this is like his wake up DP in a sense, because he never really kind of had one in this game.
He kind of
except
does.
for, like,
He
Super?
does for the, I was gonna say, yeah, super is the closest
But,
to
like,
it, and you gotta get the
yeah.
super glitch going, right? Where with 50 tension, you can still get the invo off the the ultimate pop buster or the air buster one, and kind of cancel it and get the invo frames from that. But that's a little more advanced. In general, just straight up from the kit, like, he doesn't. So this looks like it, but like I said, 11 frame startup. It's kind of slow. As it
I guess it
kinda
depends when
should.
the armor starts up too.
Yeah, that's
kind of a big thing.
so what to take away from this? There's a lot of fucking questions coming out of this. Static, as far as I'm concerned, or you too, Meza, like, season 3 patch, when that came down, we knew new moves were coming out. We knew they were going to change the landscape. Did anyone here remember whether or not they said they were just going to start adding more moves to more characters in the future?
No, just recent.
I recall them saying that they wanted to add new stuff, but I only thought like some characters were going to get new moves that like needed it, that were kind of like generically the older characters that we're used to seeing that have some fairly okay new moves. But yeah, I didn't expect them to like plan for everyone to have new moves, because like, where do you put the commands for some of these characters?
Yeah, so they stated about it that there are new things that they want to add and that they want to test. This further went up into the in the panel. I don't believe the Backyard had it. We'll double check if the Backyard did post up anything about that. But in the panel itself, there was just discussion about it, and that right now confirmed. 2 characters are getting one more move in the December patch. So Pot's getting this. They did not divulge who the second character is going to be. My question is just like, okay, are they looking to go through the entire roster to do it? Not just, hey, actually, I do remember in the Backyard, I do state it, how, right now there's additional DLC characters, right? And it's like some people are happy because it's new characters, new ways to play. But some people, i.e. like pop players or, other legacy characters from the beginning, have just stayed the same, right, since the beginning. So they are looking to kind of expand upon that and let everybody get a little bit of a fresh coat of paint, or maybe some coffee injected into their kits to let them feel a little better and do some new stuff. But they said, obviously, when it comes to introducing new stuff, they really have to R&D it. You don't want to make a character broken because their approach now completely changes. I mean, we don't know 100% how this move works for Pot, but this is gonna change up some matchups for sure. Like, this is gonna change up how Pot is going to be played and how you're going to play against Pot. As if you weren't already worried about jumping at him, right? Now he has a armor move that can counter and not corner carry, but with RC, there probably is some crazy shenanigans to just get you across the screen. Now he's got you in the corner in an advantageous position. Like, this is gonna flip the script.
Imagine if he just Gold Burst has full bar. Does the barrier super? Oh, well, no. A Gold Burst gets all the bars.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Or if he just wall breaks, gets all the bar, shoots out the barrier, and then does the move while you're knocked down.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. That is dirty.
Just RCs around the.
Yeah, now it's no longer Aegis Reflector into Hammer Fist, right? Or Hammerfall. It's now Aegis Reflector into this, while Aegis Reflector covers him no matter what happens, right, from behind.
Or even like doing that, using the armor to go through something and then punishing whatever happens.
Oh my goodness.
What I'm more curious about is them implementing these moves one by one, how it affects the players who aren't getting new moves. Because like, we've always seen some communities will be like, well, this character got a move or two, or they got something buffed and we just got nothing, right? Yeah. So I wonder if the best thing is to do it this way, because we haven't really seen a game add moves one by one, right? Yeah, usually it's maybe add 2 or 3 new moves and we call it a day with like specific characters.
Yeah, I like the incremental add, because 2 things. One, I'm sure they if they wanted to, they would add as many moves as they could if they didn't give a damn. But clearly they want to make sure that, you know, focusing on one or two moves versus trying to do one for like everyone in the roster at once and try to release that and say a major patch, you might overlook something, right? Because your attention is kind of split everywhere. So I like it as from a Q&A standpoint is a good idea, because, you know, you can just catch it. If you're focusing on one versus trying to spread your attention everywhere, it's probably a better look. And two, it, you know, it kind of brings a little bit of hype to people. Like, sure, it gives hope. I don't want to say it's false hope, but they've stated outright they want to hit all the characters. They want to mess with more characters. Like, obviously, you know, they've already touched a couple with Geo, with Ino. I actually can't even remember anyone else who got hit off the top.
May.
May and such, which they actually did talk about it in the developer backyard. They even had a little concept art to show how they kind of like go about.
I thought Biking got a new move too. Or she just got changes.
No. Wild Assault was the what she got added, like plenty of other people got. Yeah. So they did break down about it. And oh, by the way, also 2.5 million players. Sick for Guilty Gear. Good. Congratulations on that. We're now in season 3. They just go over a bunch of things, concepts, and even including, like I said, the concepts, talking about, you know, the adding new moves and their philosophy on it. They're talking about inputs as well. Like, that's why they're looking at, you know, how Geo's is getting designed to, like, you know, kind of do the one button press after the dash, because like you said earlier, man, so like, how do you add that to like a command list? Like, how much deeper are you going to start, you know, adding every kind of moveset for a certain character? Oh yeah, and Ram was another one, right, that got it as well. And Anji. I'm starting to now kind of remember. But
you know, got a move that I forgot existed.
Yeah. What, his move?
No, has a move that I forgot existed.
Yeah, you don't like that to recall, because she got a bunch of other nerfs.
That flying dash into the note. No, it's really good, and I just never use it.
No, it's good. He just never uses it. Yeah, big difference there. He just never uses it. So moving on to the developer backyard. The reason I'm bringing on to this, because this is what they talked about by the end of the panel, after the Potemkin clip was really the end piece to it. And yeah, DLC character number 11 is coming out in December with minor balance update. So not exorbitant. Like, I don't think the full cast is going to get touched, but fixes more than likely for bug fixes are going to happen. Special moves number 2, once again, they did reiterate 2 characters are getting 1 move, Pot, and then TBD the other one. People are saying Milia. That's like kind of like the talk right now, that Milia is going to be the one getting it. We'll just have to wait and see. And then we still have, obviously, in 2024, 2 more DLC characters to get through season 3. So that's really their roadmap for it. I'm looking forward to it. I just want to state outright, like, the idea that they're taking with it, where season, you know, patches and such are typical for fighting games, right? With your DLC, you're getting your balance patch, you're getting a character too, and that's about it. That's the go-to, right? That's the go-to template. What I'm liking, what ArcSys has been doing with Strive since the rips, though, right? That they've kind of been trying to be progressive in things that they're doing. They're being extremely transparent from the very rip. You know, their beta, they switched a lot. The UI, the network, you know, feedback. They've really been listening hard. And even, you know, season 3 patches, right? Adding Wild Assault, adding Deflect Shield, adding more options for characters. I thought that was a one-off, but the fact that they're willing to do this even mid-season patch is really, really interesting. Because like you kind of were alluding to earlier, or how you said earlier, Meza, I can't think out of a major change in maybe the version of a game, right? I.e. like your Street Fighter to Super Street Fighter, right? Or to Turbo or whatever, where, you know, you get a big change in the mechanics. Sure, different games, different sequels, you'll get changes, but in game, during a specific season, you decide to kind of really start adding to characters. You know, with their goal to be everybody, I find it interesting. I like it because they're willing to still change characters' approaches. Maybe not as dynamic as you want, maybe not as in depth. Like, sure, adding a move or 2. Sometimes the move might be worthless. Who knows? Might not change as much. Maybe it might propel a character to become much better than they were, right? But the fact that ArcSys is trying to do that,
they're putting more thought into it than most companies would.
I am for it, and I like the idea of that, to be more of a thing with more companies, really, for more games in the future. I don't think they have to do it right away, but I like that ArcSys is just saying fuck it, like, let's try it. Because I mean, what else can they do right now, right? Like Strive is now out for over 2 years. It's had an incredible run. Now it's just like, yeah, your DLC needs to be good, but like they're like, we're gonna make it even better with including, you know, we're changing the system mechanics. We are changing characters in a sense of they're getting moves, right? Like what happens if they go, we're gonna get rid of let's say we get rid of Ino's guard break move and give her horizontal chemical romance actual mid-level hit.
Vertical and
vertical.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Or you want horizontal. You want horizontal, right? Like that. Like like you wouldn't be opposed to that, right? That'd be a win. Would that make you want to play the game more? Yeah,
kind of, because that move is too good, so I like it.
I'm just saying it sucked, or just say it was okay. Like, but the ability to the fact that they're willing to maybe do something like that maybe in the future, like does that give you more kind of like not happiness or reliance, but does it kind of like entrust, like, you know, the competency? I don't want to make it seem like other companies aren't competent. Would you just like that kind of feature in the future for your games?
I don't know. I wish they didn't change what wasn't broken. I mean, it was broken, but I don't think it was. But like, if it's visually there, like that chemical love thing really gets on my nerves. I mean, it does. It works in combos. It's fine, but it's not working on certain characters. People can walk under it. There's just quality of life things that just visually just don't work. It's a move that characters can go through. It's fine, but why can Baiken taunt under it? I don't get it. Look, I'm not again.
We're not going back to that rant.
Yeah.
I'll say for the record, there has been games that have done this, maybe not to a degree of really. I don't want to say they didn't think it through, but they at least had the plan. So like Soul Calibur is a good example of a game that added new moves within Soul Calibur 6. We've also seen Tekken do that with Tekken 7, where they've added wall bounce, new mechanics. So it's not like it's unprecedented, but I feel like Guilty Gear is kind of taking a little bit more forethought into how they implement it and doing it slower, which then builds up like this anticipation. But I think the biggest thing is they had to kind of do the mechanics change. One, because I think they're also listening to how they're doing Grand Blue Versus and how they're working on those aspects of the game, as well as DNF Duel. So they're like, okay, we can implement new concepts and mechanics that people will go and say, okay, we want to get involved. We want to play. We like these new changes. But I'll even say Under Night Shore is doing that somewhat with their Uni 2, even though it's basically the same game with a new game system.
Yeah, new game, yeah.
But it's not very common we see companies be very open and transparent about building into this new system and adding new movesets, which is very interesting. And that's why I'm very on board with watching with what they do to see if other companies do that. But like I said, I feel like they have to do this, because if they didn't, Grand Blue Versus is kind of blowing every anime game out of the water at this point by just implementing, even if it's a new game, they're still like, hey guys, did you check this out? Did you check this out? Did you check this out?
I don't know about blowing them out, because that's still another $60 that we gotta shell out in order to get it. But I get what you mean.
Unless you play for free.
True that. There
and
is
you
that
play
free
some
version.
of the free system. So like I said, I feel like with Grand Blue on the rise, other games have to kind of mold into this a little bit. Like I would hope to see Dragon Ball kind of do this, where it doesn't seem like they're getting a brand new game, but with rollback on the come up eventually whenever that arrives, I feel like if they just did that, it'd be better.
Yeah. So so we're gonna take a quick break, guys. We're actually gonna finish up with our Guilty Gear talk, because we're gonna go into the playable characters, and we're gonna ask you guys what your some thoughts on a very important question after this. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back. So striving for some new things, no pun intended, but it is what it is. I just did that. We checking out the latest developer backyard. This is number 15. well, we love. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoy looking at this. This is like just one of those things that I've enjoyed. ArcSys continue to just be transparent about things, especially those feedback forums, man. Like they go enough for all of us that like. I think more companies need to be implemented, and we're seeing some more implement this kind of two-way of communication with the developer and the consumer, or the hardcore like us, right, that really play the game, and not even all of us, right. This is definitely a combination of casuals that probably are enjoying the game and just maybe are even jumping into it for the first time.
I don't understand this usage graph. Like I do and I don't. Like I can understand why people gravitate towards certain characters, but like
what Bridget. Brisket, she's disgustingly good.
I think she got nice to see numbers.
Yeah, you got Bridget, you got Soul, and you got Ramlethal in the top 3. Those are all easy to pick up characters. With Bridget being, I think, maybe the most complex because you have to worry about yo-yo positioning, right? And then Mike can have fun.
Yes and no. For me, I feel like Bridget turned into an autopilot character.
Yeah, I can see
they
that.
sort of hinged up they are sort of greased up all the hinges and made sure that she could just flow into everything.
People like the skates. You could just be like, why move forward in air dash when I could just woo right into your face?
NDP.
Come on, NDP, exactly. Like, what's not to like? But yeah, so
I would
pass a DP.
I would have liked to just see numbers, because I would love to see how many people actually wanted to be on board with voting, because like that's also kind of interesting. The numbers seem really high.
They stated it's about 37,000 players filled in.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a good data chunk. Once again, 2.5 million players versus 37,000 might not seem as a big data, but it's still it's odd.
I'll take that over like 200 people, okay? Because that means nobody's really paying attention to it. But that's good. 37,000 is a lot.
So so she's made strides in terms of like popularity. Like Soul, Bridget, you see a couple Testaments and Bikin. They're kind of rolling up really the top 3, top 4. Kai actually, funny enough, in Middle East, Southeast Asia, and Korea, and in Japan, actually kind of taking the 2nd and 3rd place there, averaging out. But they kind of have a breakdown on it. I like how they're doing it now, showing with the little avatars, dressed like them now. So on top of that, they've gotten of course, the go-to, right? Who would you like to see in Guilty Gear Strive? I'm not going to bother going through every single one of these, but we got the overall results here. Overall, many people are hoping for Ava, for Elfelt, for Slayer, and for Dizzy. Now, this next sentence is the cool thing that I like is there are also quite a few requests in the free entry option for a completely new character, completely new character to the game. What I'm trying to think at the same time, though, because if you also look at the chart, right? This is top 10 overall, and being voted upon. And the one that I like to see right now is kind of floating. I think we got to see less of it, but the more time has gone on, the more DLC characters are coming out, the more the roster is expanding. This idea feels like it's coming up a little bit more, and it's guest character. 8th place in America. South America, we got it in 7th. 6th place out in Africa. 5th in Middle East, back to 6th in Southeast Asia. Korea is calling it at 9th. Didn't even make it in Japan because Japan really wants Elfelt. But the idea of a guest character, I don't know if they're kind of meaning new characters also as guest character, but it's kind of two in the same, right? A guest character in Guilty Gear would be, in my opinion, fucking sick. It'd be the first. It would be the first because right now it's kind of been a thing, right? We've gotten so used to like Tekken's basically a Mugen, right? Smash really is a Mugen. Street Fighter dips its toes in it because it does crossover, but it crossed over with its own little internal IPs, right? Like doesn't really go outside of the Capcom gates. They kind of kept it like that outside of your X Tekken, but that was a crossover game, so it doesn't really apply. We're talking about mainstay franchises that decide to take on an entire other franchise or entire other IPs that is not within your company into your game, i.e.
Kombat being a known one.
Yeah, right. Or Sam Show. Well, technically, Mortal Kombat, all their crossovers are properties owned by Warner Brothers.
Does Warner Brothers own all the horror movies?
Yes, like 90% of them. I'm like 90% sure. There's some that we could move some gray areas on, but 90% of them they do. Like
they don't own Rambo, do they?
They might. We don't know. I haven't done the research that deep on that one. But, Sam Show, right, has gotten the closest. outside of the mobile game, right? That had like SNK, had Guilty Gear. You can play John Cena or The Rock versus Angel, or have Guy on your team. I don't know if you remember that game, Static. You're looking at me like I'm crazy. This exists. Yeah, forget
King of Fighters one. Yeah,
the King of Fighters joint. Sam Shell's the only one that's had like a Guilty Gear character in it, so that's kind of like the most I think we've seen recently. If there was some other obscure crossover, then sure, but I think a guest character would be pretty awesome. But on top from if you're those 4 options, this is kind of like what I want to pose to you guys. Slayer, let's go Abba, Elfelt, Slayer. I feel bad for Mezza because I'm not gonna say Dizzy, but I know Dizzy's this girl. We already know that. Let's hit guest character for her for now. All right. So Abba, Elfelt, Slayer, and guest character. If you guys had a choice on letting us know, we're gonna have a poll up on Spotify because we're on all kinds of podcast platforms, but we will make one up on Spotify. Let us know. It's a real quick button check. Just, hey, I want this character. You don't have to tell us who in the guest character, but maybe a guest character. Maybe we'll do that in the future. We'll kind of elaborate a little bit more. But between Abba, Elfelt, Slayer, or a guest character, who would you like to see in Strive? Because I feel like we're gonna have this conversation later on where they're really gonna entertain that idea.
I'll call it right now. The closest thing that I think they could have as a guest character that would be, in my opinion, asked for a long time would be a Blaze Blue character. Just
that's
because
that's that within IP.
No, it is. But hear me out real quick. 2 seconds. Hear me out. I think it works out because now you give a possibility for Blaze Blue players to go, holy crap. One, we're going to get into Guilty Gear. But not only that, Blaze Blue has a potential to be seen with the same graphics as Strive has, which that also makes the IP for Blaze Blue even bigger for them.
Listen, I love my Blaze Blue cats. I was a Bullet player myself, but listen.
Ooh.
Guilty Gear is your daddy. It's okay.
Even more reason
you gotta
to have
do your
the
thing.
son come along.
Just know,
like Sin did to Kai.
Yeah, true. All right.
See.
So, besides that, they just talked about a couple other points. Additional, what are people hoping in future updates? They gave up to 6 selections. The top 3 were additional special moves. We're getting that. Awesome. Improvement on online matchmaking. They said, listen, we're working on stuff. We can't talk about it. We can't really update on you, but we're looking for it to prioritize updates and network stability. Awesome. We don't want another Hacker Man happening. And then the last one, which they've been really surprised to see, is just more additional story content, which is kind of true. Like Guilty Gear has like an insane amount of story and lore between these characters, and I feel like we just haven't explored it as much in the latest version. So maybe they just want some more content to kind of explore and see what these characters are doing outside of what we've already gotten initially, right? Maybe aside from the main story. So we'll just wait and see. But you guys can check out, of course, the full developer backyard on the guiltygear.com page. Let's check it out. It says it on the news. It's on the top right next to patch notes. Remember, this is Developer's Backyard, number 15, released on the 31st, aka on Halloween. All right, so let's jump into, that was a long segment on some Guilty Gear, but we had to get it done. Let's go into our favorite game. We love this game, right? We love this game, guys. Let's go with MK1. So on this week's episode of Double Tap, or rather this week's episode of What is Going On with MK1 Today? The real question you should be asking is what isn't going on with MK1.
I think really, first we haven't really had updates like that.
Yeah, there haven't been any kind of crazy updates. The kind of now it's really more of leaks and things that have kind of not have shown up that weren't intentional. So it's a little ahead of time. But I don't know if you've caught it on your Twitter feeds, X feeds, whatever you want to call it. But the DLC, the MK1 Combat Pack 1, obviously that it's going to be containing Omni-man. That is Quan Chi, Ermac, Takeda, Homelander, and Peacemaker. I think that's all of them, right? Well, I'll check right here. The DLC, unfortunately, has been leaked. Or rather, the dates have been leaked. So we were already aware Omni-Man is supposed to be coming out this month. It's going to be the 6th of November. Quan Chi is going to be coming out 18th of December. Peacemaker on the 4th. 4th of February, excuse me. Ermac on the 5th of March. Homelander on the 13th of May. And Takeda on the 1st of July. So
it's really far.
Pretty spread out. Yeah, the only times we're only seeing 2 gaps though. We're only seeing 2 months out of all this without a character, which isn't terrible. Like January, sure, let's do this post Christmas. We'll have 2 characters anyway out by then, and what is it? April. Yeah, April showers. Nothing to write home about. We just have to deal with Homeland. They're coming May 13th.
And June.
And then, and June. Yeah, that is true. In June. Which is interesting because, I mean, 1st of July, Takeda, I think, will just potentially make the Evo cut, or is Evo happening in August, right?
Evo's happening in early July.
Mid-July, yeah.
Oh, then yeah, Takeda is not going to be Evo ready. No, they're not going to allow Takeda to be out then. Which, I mean, it's good because now you know, so that way you don't try to like hope that you can play and like put all that time. No, he's just like probably chances are it won't be legal. But yeah, so that leak actually happened like earlier, like last week, because the PSN store actually accidentally was showing it. So they got all the, or actually, excuse me, PlayStation support. PlayStation support. I don't know whether that was an actual person or it was an automated response, but that's how they ended up getting the actual details. Somebody must have inputted that data a little early, and so it made it out. WB can cry a river later about that, but now we know. Let's see. Besides that, like, there's nothing. Yeah, there's no other crazy updates. It's just more things that MK needs to get, fixed or patched up, right? Like the ping indicator kind of being called out as not working properly. Which, I mean, listen, I can understand. I don't know why sometimes there is this argument where some people will state that calling it out or posting about it and complaining is not good. I mean, when it's nonsensical, yeah, there's no point in it. But I didn't know that this existed either. Kind of having some sort of way to get it out there, some way to actually expose it and like get traction to understand, like, hey, your ping indicator is not 100% working. So even if it says 50 or 75, I mean, what's the tweet that we had? Who was it that posted up before? I think it was Tweety, right?
Yeah, well, so. About which one?
About the ping indicator.
Yes, that was Tweety.
That was Tweety? Okay. So Tweety posted up about that, and some it's just like, I get it. Like, you don't want to punch down on something, but at the same time, like, this actually affects players that are playing on ranked and such, where it's like it's stating like the ping is this when it actually doesn't work. That's kind of a problem. Yeah, stating here, yep, the ping indicator is not working properly in this game. It constantly says connection is better than it is, which means we are forced to accept laggier matches, and now laggy connections can get by in online tournaments. That's a quality problem. That's something that needs to be fixed, because if these are the tools that we get from the developer, we just need to ensure that there is just vision on this, because that does kind of just ruin the experience really for everybody. That just doesn't mean competitive players. Casuals are probably like, if they see a red bar, they probably don't want to play that person, right? Like, I don't think this is just a competitive player thing. They're people that are playing online, having fun, and if they can't properly have these tools available that help, or that are supposed to help or help dictate these decisions, then something's broken. Something needs to obviously give here.
We have to also realize that this isn't like the only game that has these issues or has had these issues. We've seen it in Dragon Ball. We've seen it in Street Fighter a lot. We've seen it, in the first early days. I think it's something that can be fixed over time, which it's going to have to be fixed fairly fast, not due to the fact that, one, they're going to like lose player base or anything like that, because it's still a new game. People are still going to keep playing it. But I think the biggest thing is you're running a pro competition with online tournaments.
Yes,
that kind of
there's the line.
Really affects the people who are the ones who are going to be showing off the game, especially if you have, like, let's just say someone like Max, who just likes to stream maybe any fighting game. He's not going to be more inclined to stream a game like this when connections aren't as good, so it devalues what you're trying to get out of it. So I mean, I hope they fix this, because I would love to play online more often, considering I've just started getting into playing online, and I don't want this to be something that discourages me, especially if you play ranked. You can't really choose. You just kind of deal with it.
Yep.
If I might interject a bit here, I personally am not the biggest fan of Pig of the Hut guy, Bam Bam Guitar guy. I'm just not the biggest fan. I don't like that you're like tagging the developers. I'm sure they already know, and you're like, please watch this. I've seen Max do it, but Max has a bigger audience, obviously. Like he calls out some of the worst stuff, like the $10 fatality thing or $12 fatality thing. Yeah, and he called out the like Capcom Ninja Turtles thing around as well. So I mean, for Pig of the Hut to sort of like try to take that route, and I'm like, dude, I'm sure they're on it. Like, I'm sure, and I'm not trying to say that it's maybe they're not. I mean, the game's been out a month and a half already.
We don't know.
I mean,
that's what I mean. Right. We don't know. We don't know what
like,
actually has made it across their desk. Like, I think any information, any communication at all would be beneficial.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just having the transparency once they see it. Because, like, you know, look, let's be real. They saw the Cyrex thing probably way before the tournament. They probably knew way beforehand. And they were probably like, look, we're going to have to at least, you know, do something about it, but we can't do it right now. We have to focus on some other things. I mean, we don't know how big their team is. We don't know any of those things. But one thing I can say for sure is I would say this has definitely made it across their desk, whether it be before or now. Probably more prevalent now because they did this patch, which they have to address certain things. I think it would be healthy. Well, they don't have to, but I think it'd be healthy as a company that's as big as them and be transparent, like how Guilty Gear has been transparent, how Capcom's been, how Arxis has been, how Capcom has been, how Skullgirl, you know, all of them, everybody else is kind of being a little bit more transparent now. Even DNF Duel, you know, Neopol's been more transparent.
Well, I get what you guys are saying about the pro competition, but I'm pretty sure the pro competition requires you to have Ethernet cable. So it's not the Wi-Fi issue indicator isn't an issue when it comes to pro competition, but when it comes to ranked, okay, I get it. I understand. You know, you should be able to deny anyone who is Wi-Fi. Not saying that Wi-Fi is necessarily bad, and if you're playing on Wi-Fi, more power to you. But you know, just know that you might be a slideshow. Okay.
I only say this because it brings up I don't 100% disagree with you. But I have to look at it as like there's people who are connected via Ethernet, and sometimes it's less on their end and it's on the connection between the players. So I think we have to kind of take it into what is their we don't know what netcode system they're using. I don't even know if they're using rollback, right? Like it's not like it's something they didn't stated out loud.
If you didn't say rollback in the last 3 years, then you were just not making a fighting game.
I mean, but there's games that have made so many, like look at Grand Blue. Grand Blue is striving really well.
That's the only one because
Sam Show.
It came out right before that and Sam Show.
You're talking in a post-COVID world.
A post-COVID world. A post-March 2020. Grand Blue came out that month and was like, oh damn, we're late. Then like they're late to the party. But
they've updated mechanics. They've done all these other things to make the game better. You can't say they'd rather put out a really good game and not include the netcode, the number one thing that was complained about previously, going into even now. That would be ridiculous to do, but they're going to do it.
They had a game out that they never discounted. Sorry to change the topic a bit. They had a game out that they never discounted until like 2022, and they were like, "Hey, let's discount it. Let's actually make a new one now that people are coming out and people actually want to play our game. Let's make a new game with the rollback, with what everybody wants." And look at them now. You know what? This is going to go into our next point. They're delaying the game. They're delaying the game just by 2 weeks because they want to make sure we have the best Grand Blue game.
And I will state this. They did state that they were releasing on Steam and PS4 and PS5 with rollback netcode and crossplay. So I think they've already updated everything they needed to. So, I mean, MK could start working towards that direction because we were supposed to have crossplay at some point. Yeah. So maybe they're waiting to do crossplay and netplay at the same time to make it better.
So more of the point is MK still has some things that are busted. If you find something that's busted, just you know what, you have my stamp. Just tag the developers. I don't care. Tell them I sent you. I don't care. I'll catch the flag.
I'd rather know than not know.
I just feel like that's the kid at recess, you know?
Yeah, but you'd rather. I like to look at it like this. Would you rather know that somebody's in your house or not know at all until you walk down there?
Yeah. Would your grandma snitch? She will snitch. Your grandma will snitch on a spot.
At the end of the day, it's the game that they released, and it's the game that they want to have pro competition for. If you're playing on Wi-Fi, get Ethernet so you can play pro competition.
Yeah. All right. Well, next to that, we've got some Tekken 8 news. Rather some announcements, really. Some characters announcements. Not one, not two, not three, but cuatro. We have some 4 new characters, or rather 4 characters to talk about that are coming to Tekken 8. This trailer dropped just yesterday. Yeah, just yesterday. So we had a quick look. We didn't have full gameplay or anything like that. As far as I could tell, that IGN video didn't have gameplay, right? Static. It was just
it just released today. Or the Bandai Namco one released today. The IGN one is this one.
Oh, okay. It's the IGN one. All right. Oh yeah, this is the IGN one. As I look at a big ass watermark in the bottom right. All right, so so we've got our characters that are showing off here. We've got Devil Jin, we've got Eliza, we've got Lee. Wait, is that 3? No, I thought it was 4.
It was Zafina, not Eliza.
Zafina.
No,
we got Alyssa.
Did I say Eliza? Sorry, Alyssa. Yeah, Alyssa. I literally looked at it and I thought Eliza. My bad.
Don't worry, everybody gets that
tripping. I was like, that didn't sound right. That didn't feel right. Why didn't that feel right? Because I would have been hyped because I played Eliza. Regardless, yeah. So we got them coming out with just some slight looks, and I don't know about y'all, but they look phenomenal.
I think they look great, but I think a lot of people would agree that this. So my thing is this: I don't know the story, so I don't know how much they actually are involved in the story. I would hope a ton, but the problem is, like, if they're not involved in the story, then you just added original characters, and people are going to be kind of mad because we only have one new additional character. That's kind of a little weird.
We'll get on to that one actually. Funny enough, so. So we're just peeping out the new, the kind of comparisons, right? Devil Jin's drip is pretty cool. No longer he stopped playing Kingdom Hearts and didn't have to put on as many belts as he needed on every piece of clothing, right? All good. Shout out to Nomura for that fad. Now it's a little more slicker. The drip is pretty clean.
My man is chainless and strapless.
Yeah, that's whoa, pause. But he's looking good. He's looking good. I've kind of said this before, but Tekken so far has been the only game to make Tekken look like shit. It's kind of like the joke, right? The Rock is the only person in the world that can make The Rock look like a little bitch, right? Like before and after the steroids or whatever the hell he's on. Anyway,
seen MK on Switch?
Oh no, yeah, no, that's the reverse effect. That's a reverse effect. But yeah, looking at Zafina, just how she looked, just the skin texturing, the lighting, even the makeup. Like the girl learned to kind of put
the new engine,
eye color
right?
a little better.
Are they using the Resident Evil engine, or are they using a new engine?
What engine did you just say?
I said Resident Evil engine. I call it the RE engine, sure.
Bro,
it's the Resident Evil engine.
It's. Oh, God. All right,
We're not calling it the RE engine. They're using UE5, right?
I cannot tell 100% if it is UE5.
Because that looks so damn good. Like, it doesn't look cartoony
good
anymore. Is that weird for me to say? That's weird for me to say.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same. It's just a matter of how lighting is done. I don't think it's the same, but I wouldn't be surprised either, because lighting, we've gone through this before, right? Where you people complain like, oh, the game's being ran on this engine, and we've seen literal comparisons of a multitude of different games being played on the same kind of engine. It's just the way they're rendered, the way they're doing lighting. We've had SNK characters get imported in, remember, like Street Fighter 5, and like how the lighting was different, how it actually made the SNK character model look great without any difference. It's just it was, like KOF 14 was just lit weird, which is why the characters look like PS2 graphics, and we could be seeing the same. But regardless, though, all 3 of these characters look amazing. I'm pretty stoked on, all 4 of these characters. So I said 3 look amazing. We didn't get to see, like I said, a quick breakdown though, right? Anywhere.
That's what I'm saying. I thought there were different renders in between game and between like a cutscene or something. Yeah, like we noticed that during the Hwarang and Jin.
Yeah, a little bit. But so much from these screenshots and from the just the limited amount of gameplay that we've gotten. This is just how they're gonna be looking in game, and they look A1, baby, A1. So I'm just
looking at Zafina's hand. Her hand looks so damn real. Like, I wonder if this is like Tekken saying, hey, we don't want to look like DOA because that's really cartoony. We don't want to look like Soul Calibur because it's almost real, but it's still a little on the cartoony side. and now they're just
What's that
completely.
joint? What's that joint? Is it not refraction, but like what is it? Come on, Static. You've seen this in VFX artists when like light goes through the skin and you can see like the red and the actual
Not ray tracing.
No, not ray tracing, bro. That's the
This guy's
technology.
emotional.
Anyway, we're seeing that even like on our hand and stuff, like you said, Meza. Like just these little glimpses of red in the edges, how lighting hits skin, because skin doesn't block all the light. There's some that can go through it. That's why if you put a light behind your ear and stuff, you'll see.
They're just putting so much time and work into this now. I just wish more games would stop fleshing out games every year and a half or two and just do this. Like what, Tekken 8's been out for like almost 4 or 5 years,
Well,
or
7.
a little bit more, probably more. 6, 7.
No,
Dude, I'm sorry.
Tekken 7.
I wasn't even trying to say that.
Yo, you are on something tonight, son. Like Resident Evil Engine, calling Tekken 8 been out for a year, bro. I don't know what you are on.
Did I say Tekken 8? Holy
You
crap.
did. That's why we're confused.
I don't
this
know, man.
entire time, you're just
my
giving
brain is
out
like-
the weirdest fucking like signals, man.
Maybe I'm seeing the future. Maybe
I don't know if my
Tekken
man's
8 is
under
gonna
duress.
last
I don't know if there's
6-7
something
years.
on the side of his frame that I can't tell, and he's trying to tell us like help. Sort of him saying 911 or something. But yeah, the characters look amazing, which leads us to what they stated. What's left now is that we have 2 more slots available for the base roster that's coming out. I think they said December to announce, but
November 2nd.
Oh, it's, yeah, literally it's tomorrow.
Middle of November.
It's literally tomorrow is one of them.
Damn, we should have held up the show for another day. No, I'm just kidding.
It's all good. We'll talk
We
about it
would've
on
had all
the next episode. But if you've listened to the show for a long time, we've covered even the Tekken leaks, and there are 2 particular characters that could confirm it. I actually have to double check to see if the leaks were correct on these, but so far it was. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw these again. But the 2 characters remaining should be original. These should be new characters. They should be part of whatever this storyline is. Like you were saying earlier, Meza, like, kind of wondering if these characters are going to be a significant part of it. I just know the two last characters should be new. But I believe they've also even added the bios to the new to the characters to just announce, like Zafina, like where she is or where she ended up at. They have put up the bios for them. So if you want to get up to date as to where these characters have been or what they've been up to, make sure to go check out the official Tekken page for that.
I don't know. I just feel like they need to not do. Well, like obviously we know like they haven't adedded Heihachi yet, so
He's dead.
I don't know if
He's dead again.
He's dead.
technically
time.
nobody dies in Tekken.
He's
See what I
dead.
did there? I
That
did a
man
game.
is dead.
Technically, nobody dies in Tekken.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I think I would love to just see more new characters. I'm just
Some more
It's
original
just-
characters would be good.
Yeah.
What is it? Azucena, which all I'm trying to say is azúcar, like with her. That's all I want to say. And for those that don't, you failed your Spanish class, azúcar is sugar, and it makes sense. Coffee. The girl's always dancing. I'm like, maybe that's kind of a tell. I don't know, but I'm just gonna call it azúcar the entire way. Yeah. So we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully, like I said, the next characters will end up being original if those leaks are correct. But let's move on to some Street Fighter, but not so much. Oh, excuse me. We're not moving on to. Well, we are moving on to Street Fighter, but we're doing that after this quick break because I guess Static needs some sugar for his coffee. So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We got some Street Fighter news talking about after this. All right, and we are back. So, from the quick coffee break, we've got some Street Fighter 6 news to talk about. And like I said, it's not so much updates, even though we've been getting plenty of updates for Avatar Fighter 6 in the sense of costumes and battle costumes for your avatar.
Makes no sense.
More than a single costume for anybody in Street Fighter 6, for that matter. I don't think anyone has received anything outside of your retro ones, but you get those from the game if you grind out and such. So we're waiting for that to go down, but on the other side of things, Capcom has kind of made an interesting kind of stance on something that we hold near and dear here, which is of course mods, right? If you're on the PC right now, you're not sweating DLC costumes or really any content because modders out there have had you since the beta, right? Since the beta months, I've been breaking this game wide open, or really any game in the RE engine, wide open. And it's showing off that Capcom has a couple words for that. Really cool article over at boundingtocomics.com. Capcom takes aim at PC game modding, says developers should be concerned over mods that are offensive to public order and morals. Now, off the rip, I don't know about you, or really anybody that actually does mod, or maybe has seen mods in the game, right? Whether you are watching your favorite streamer have a really cool, interesting mod for the character that they play, maybe a different color palette, maybe even their branding on the jacket, or maybe you're a TO or possible commentator that accidentally streamed, Chun-Li in her birthday suit. I don't think at any point anyone will then confuse and go, did Capcom release that? Like, I can't believe Capcom made a fucking a birthday suit for Chun-Li, just has her thighs just out there and everything else in between. I cannot believe Capcom will do that. I will sully the reputation of Capcom because of this. I just don't see that happening, but Capcom is acting as if these kinds of mods that are, eventually going to happen. I'm sorry, bro. It is called Rule 34 for a reason. If it's something slightly attractive, there is probably some sort of porn or something of it out there in the wild. Video games are no different. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure it came from video games. Anyway, I know that's to an extreme, but that's basically how they're treating it. That, like, anything that doesn't align with them, they're instantly gonna be like, it's just not for them, which is fine. They don't have to be affiliated with it. Just because it happens to be in your game, that just means your game's cracked open. But they're like, they're working on a lot of anti-cheat, anti-piracy methods. They had a big old open conference talking about the Resident Evil engine from, in 2023. And they had some really cool statements in there. Like, PC games have a high degree of freedom, but they also are free to be tampered with. I'm like,
but are you saying yeah to that, or are you not saying yeah to that?
So that's the funny thing. So that's what they stated. As per, Capcom, by who's it? Yahagi. I'm trying to remember his gentleman's full name. Taro Yahagi. The Capcom programmer Taro Yahagi praised the alarm about the whole high degree of freedom. They can also be tampered with. His declaration stating, in the company's eyes, all mods are defined as cheats, except when they are officially supported. What modders are doing internally is no different than cheating. So they're viewing your mods as cheating. And that little blurb there, except when they are officially supported. Remember, I can guarantee they're specifically talking about the mod. I don't know if you remember in Street Fighter V, especially by the end of it, with Street Fighter, I don't know if it's Street Fighter League or just Capcom Cup in general. Nobody wants to see training stage over, every single match all over, like every game, right? Awesome backgrounds, awesome backdrops that your developers put in time for and paid people to design, and then competitively on broadcast you're never going to see because the hardcore gamers, the competitors, they're playing with training stage because they want to make sure the game is playing at the correct speed, blah 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 blah. There was a mod that let the players, or rather the client that's watching them, no matter what stage they pick, especially if they pick training stage, so the players play training stage, the mod helps the spectator, or even someone else who's watching, to have a different stage in the background. Capcom used that mod on the PC side of things to ensure their production was better because of it.
Well, that's promoting their game still, right? You're not technically tampering with the game itself, but you're tampering with something that would support them.
It's cheating.
Well, no, it supports them. They said that, right? So
yeah.
I mean, it's weird when we talk about tampering with a game. First off, I've always thought that whenever we buy a game, it's mine to do whatever the hell I want with it, as long as I don't affect other people, right? So if I put a mod on that's a skin mod, then as long as it doesn't affect your character or the gameplay, who cares? That's what it should be. But the way they're targeting, it's kind of scary because there's been a lot of quality of life helpful things. We've seen it in Blaze Blue, we've seen it in BB Tag, we've seen it even in DNF Duel, where sometimes getting rid of the background because some people can't run the game because you didn't make the game designed to run on a lesser computer, guess what? It's gotten more people into the game. So are we supporting the product or are we ruining it?
Yeah.
So like,
They said the majority of mods have positive impact on the game. Some mods, however, can be detrimental to the company, both reputational damage and product workload. I still don't understand that. Like, I'm seeing Chun-Li in a bunny outfit here. I don't expect Capcom to have officially done that if they are keeping a certain branding. Like, I understand that. If they did, I'd be like, oh wow, look at that. But I don't see their reputation being destroyed over that, like making it worse. Like, hello, look at that modder at Nexus 64 adds Street Fighter 5 costume to Street Fighter 6. Looks fucking amazing. Why don't you just like I'm trying to think about it the other way. I'm like, these mods are already done, they look amazing. Why not pay some of these modders for their work? Maybe bring it up to snuff a little bit in certain instances for yourself, because it's your intellectual property. You can do that. Pay them for their work. Hey, let us have all rights to your model. You can't distribute it. We'll pay you though. Tweak it to make it look the way we want to. You just saved yourself development time, more or less. Not like full development time, you're still putting some time into it, but like, I don't see why they view it that way, because guess what? You're not giving us costumes yet. People are still, you're gonna have a jury pajamas mod before you actually decide to release that one. Ninja Turtles was an avatar like that you have to pay out. There's Hagar and Saddam that just dropped for your avatars. Like, Capcom, like, if you don't want more mods to happen, maybe you should also release some stuff. But I get it, maybe they want to release things and they think the mods are going to be detrimental to their sales too,
because they're not going to. That makes sense.
Okay, so my thing here, I don't know if you've already covered this, or maybe I'm just thinking it off the top of my head. They are trying to crack down on the mods that are actually cheaters.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. This gets umbrellaed into it.
Yeah.
Whereas the same type of deal. Okay, who else is doing this? Or was it the Brooks converter thing we were talking?
We haven't talked about it yet, but that was the whole Microsoft thing going on, right? With third-party controllers and all. That's a different thing we're talking about.
But in this case, it's like casualties of it all, like or collateral damage of the sort. Like, they don't, like, if they do make a change or a patch where it's like let's say the next engine is sort of gonna catch that, it's gonna be something that catches what, if you can't have one without catching the other.
Yeah, like, some of the most popular games nowadays, and today the biggest, especially in esports, were mods, were changes from mods of other games, and have built their own. Not to say this is what's happening here, but that openness kind of is healthy for the community, really. Sure, people are always going to do some wild shit. Like, you're not going to stop people from doing that, but you just have to say, like, hey, listen, we're open to mods, but they do not reflect our blah blah blah. So you kind of, I don't know why you could just take a simple PR thing like that. Be like, hey, listen, we are letting you guys mod, but we do not, anything offensive or blah, 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 hateful, this and that does not reflect our core values. Like, we're going to bring core values out. Our core values or whatever. And there you go. You kind of have best of both worlds. You save face by saying, hey, listen, you guys don't reflect us, but you paid the money. It's your product. Quote unquote, right? Mess with it. I mean, yeah, it's not really just, like I said, it's the RE engine. So, even Resident Evil 4 is seen that happen.
Let me throw some real hard facts here, because I feel like what people are also missing is, and this happens with other games too, the moment you decide to start attacking mods, well, not even attacking mods, let's put it this way. The moment you decide to start creating an anti-cheat system to stop, let's say, hackers, right? Or modders in general. Because, yeah, you have your anti-cheat for hackers, but if we're including modders to some degree, because you're saying they're all in the same category, because they're maliciously affecting the game in some way, once you do that, you categorize all modders, including the ones who've designed skins, developed backgrounds for things, developed systems that lower the resolution and the graphics. Once you do that, you remove the ability for the modders to now implement their modding effects, right? So what that does is now you've essentially targeted a whole group of people who might have been supporting what you're doing. You haven't given them a platform, you haven't given them anything. So you can't really funnel out when you design a system for cheating to cut out mods because that's what you're categorizing them as. And when you do that, you just destroyed the whole modding scene. Which then, let's be real. I'm gonna give some truth. A lot of people don't realize that, when people do these anti-mods, like these mods to get around other systems, it may take them extra days, but they're gonna figure it out anyway, where it doesn't affect it. We did it with Dragon Ball, like, and I thought it was really cool to be able to play, let's say, Trunks or another character with a professional team. So if I was part of Cloud9, I had the Cloud9 on my Trunks character. So now I'm promoting not only the game, I'm also promoting, the organization I'm part of. So I think it just there's this fine line of when you do implement something like this and you talk about it, their wording, we talked about it earlier, wording is very key. And I feel like their wording is very poorly done to some degree on some aspects. You just got to separate modders from people who are intentionally hacking or affecting the game to the degree of hurting other people and the company itself. Once they do that, I think then the modders will feel a little bit safer and feel like, hey, we can support what you're doing.
Yeah, but luckily, at the end of the presentation, though, Yahagi did note that there's nothing happening towards non-malicious, right? They're kind of still staying in the path of those that are actually trying to cheat and such. But he concludes with the call to developers to remain diligent, an ever-evolving legion of vaguely defined cheaters and pirates. So, it wasn't all doom and gloom, but it was interesting stating that internally that's how Capcom does see it, which doesn't mean, like I said, there's no plans on that towards the non-malicious, but doesn't mean it can happen in the future. This new REX engine might do something about that, right?
I know we want to move on real quick, but I just want to say I think this is a good time for the modder community to delegate a few people that can be the top and be like, hey, let's open up a link to the company and see if they're willing to work with us, and then make an organization that way for modders that are, it's like a safe haven, right? So now they're not forced to feel like they can't work with the company or work behind the support of the company, and vice versa.
Yep. So we'll just have to wait and see. But we'd like to know from you guys. Do you guys enjoy mods? Do you enjoy your Marvel 3 mods, right? Your palette swap mods? Do you enjoy? Oh, the Static said no. Do you enjoy your costume mods, for your characters that, Capcom clearly hasn't, dropped yet because they're waiting to make DLC an all-time high for them to sell costumes? Are you an enjoyer of that? Or do you think, Capcom's right in the idea of looking at them the same way, even though it doesn't change anything gameplay-wise? We would like to hear from you guys, of course. We'll be posting this up. We'll be asking our community, and of course, all our awesome listeners. We'll be hitting up on Twitter. We're posting up on this, and of course in our Discord, which you can join. We'll get to plug that in at the end of the show. But let us know what you guys think about it, because we're all ears. This is an interesting topic. We don't want to see mods go anywhere anytime soon. At least I personally do, calling for myself more than anyone else. But I think the rest of the show, the rest of my hosts probably agree on that. All right, so we've got actually one more piece of Street Fighter news. Of course, it's the Master Ranks. Master Rank Reset has finally gone down. We're now in Phase 2 of the Master League that began just midnight. And now all Master Rank players have been reset. It went from, I think the highest was, oh goodness, I think I had seen the numbers. 2,900 or 20, or was it 2,200? 2,300? Or actually, it could have even been 26.
Roughly, I believe it was 1,000-ish.
Yeah, anyway. Those were at the higher end. It has then changed now. Everybody went down. I believe it was the 1,500 look, and then since then, it's been a grind. I think Event Hub, shout out to them. I think they actually ended up posting up who the latest was. Yeah, there we go. By the end of Phase 1, Master Rank League, Moke was the one with the top at 2,300, 2,333 MR. And now, I think everything's changed up. The most recent as of the time of their posting, the current highest was MR. What's an MR? The current highest was Banana Can at 1847. F-Champ, Kakaru, Hurricane. We got a couple others that were around the 1700 range. So we've gotten a reset, right? And that was something that was talked about very early on in Street Fighter 6's, even before release. where they were gonna look at rank and resetting then, or even just like barely at release. I am a fan of MR or ranking seasons and like you resetting them. Like I'm a fan of it. I like it. I like it because, for one, I think it gives a little bit, for the competitive scene, it gives them more of an oomph to come back and like grind online. Because like once you're in a certain rank and say you can't, like honestly, master, not being able to get out of master, I feel like it's a kind of a little cheated. That's just me. I feel like if you're just not playing, you're not up to snuff anymore, like, and you're holding that spot like that someone else is trying to grind for, like, you should, degrade, which you can degrade a little bit when you don't play. But in masters, right, once you get there, like it gets reset. I think I would like to have seen a reset of all the ranks. And I'm not saying all the ranks go back to like nothing. If you grinded your butt off and you made it to diamond, right? Diamond 1, diamond 2, whatever, right? And you're like, yeah, that's your accomplishment, that's the highest you've got. You're like, hell yeah. And you get a reset, the following month or so, maybe, the 2-3 months, right? The phase that they have. I don't think you should go back to rookie or something. I think you should just maybe down one, or everyone gets a certain amount. Like it's happened in other games, like think like Hearthstone, right? Static, like you're very well at when you go to legend rank, or if you're at whatever rank you're at 1, you're at 2. Yeah, the reset, it brings you down a set amount. So like your 2s are really your 4s in the start. Your 4s are really your 6s, whatever. Depending on where you rank that. So that way you're not like getting completely reset, but you're getting pushed down so you can see if you're gonna grind back up. But because you've made it at this level, it should be easier because those are the players you're gonna end up playing with anyway when you get to that level.
Right. Yeah. Then, but again, that's full of bots now. But still, it was like if you made it to silver, you'll get enough stars that if you keep a streak going, you can make it back to silver in no time. Same with Pokemon. Actually, Pokemon, I've gotten in singles and doubles. I've gotten to master rank last month, and
congrats.
You have to keep a streak going. Thank you, man. You should play me sometime. You get to a streak, and then they start you at level 8, and then if you get to 9, like you can't go below Ultra Ball. Yeah, like if you get 1 win, so it's pretty good. I do like that.
There's other competitive games, right? Valorant, you're constantly getting your rank climbing back up, right? League, to a degree, right? Isn't League to a certain degree you get a reset?
League resets all the way back to it.
Do you just do placements?
Kind of scales your ratio. You have to do placements again. And the placements, depending on the placements and based off of your previous, you will either have to reclimb back up to like, let's say if you're diamond, you might get shot down to low plat if you do fairly okay, or you might get shot back up to diamond, but maybe the lower ranks of diamond. You're usually never shot back up to where you were before unless your performance was outstanding. But they try to balance it where you don't get back up there easily. And you have to kind of climb. I personally like this. I liked it when they did it for Guilty Gear. They kicked us all out of Celestial, said reclimb your asses back up, and it was fun. Honestly, I felt like that was fun, but I feel like this whole, once you get into the climbing, it just feels too grindy in Street Fighter for me. I think they could fix that a little bit, then I think people will enjoy the grind a little bit. That's
the other part. People don't want to keep, like, I got my rank, I don't want to have to re-grind every month or every 3 months or whatever to get it back. That's even on the casual side, like they don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over. But I mean, if you're competitive, you're actually playing ranked, like you kind of want to, you're not going to care as much.
I don't like that if you take too long to come back to the game, that it's going to sort of penalize you even further.
Well, yeah, it's called degrading your rank, because you can't, because you're trying to fix things like, say you're at a really high MR in Masters, say you're at second to highest, and you just stop playing. It's like people will have to outgrind you to get past you, but that's like you're like sitting on it. You're squatting the rank. You're squatting the rank. I mean, that's just one way to get past it. It doesn't work on all the ranks, obviously, because the other ranks don't have that. But I guess that's one way to. But I don't think you can degrade, like, right? You can only degrade from like diamond up, right? I don't think you can degrade from like gold or silver or bronze or anything like that, to my knowledge, because that's just unfair.
I think it should only attack master ranks.
Yeah, I think it should only hit attack
master mostly.
Yeah,
maybe diamond, but mostly master.
Yeah, but
yeah, I don't know. I just felt like this really holds no purpose outside of like helping the competitive people and the content creators kind of keep playing the game.
Yeah, it's top 100
and new players
or whatever,
getting into the
top
game.
500.
Because like that stuff's kind of been achievable prior to that. But this, like I said, this is just like Guilty Gear. You get kicked out of Celestial, it's that grind mentality to get back to Celestial and stop other people is fun.
Yeah, the amount of time I've just like been in Celestial and then just like don't play for a month or 2 or 3 or 4, 5, 6, and then I just come back and I'm like, you know, if you've already made it there, you know, for all those that are scared, right? For all those, these are some words of advice for y'all. For those that are scared about losing your rank and not making it back, you did it once, you can do it again. You can definitely.
And if not, guess what? That doesn't devalue anything that you've
exactly
done.
Don't ranks. First of all, ranks on Street Fighter don't mean dick. So technically, this whole conversation is mute. But hey, some people want to feel good. I'm not gonna hold it against them, right? But I'm wondering, I'm hoping if Capcom would kind of, you know, maybe implement a different way of resetting MR in the future. But as of right now, we've gotten our phase 2. That'll be lasting for 3 months, and once again, your master rank will reset with each new phase. But one cool concept that someone did post on Twitter that would be kind of sick: legend rank only skins.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be like
or a title, or a title, you know, something to get for doing that. Like Overwatch did it, right? Overwatch gave you a
Mortal Kombat's doing it.
Is MK doing it?
Yeah, it is.
Every rank you get a different like particular item.
Okay,
you get something for it getting all the way down
for every season or something. Because like I said, Overwatch was cool because they did the whole like, you know, you played rank at a certain level, you got like this spray, but then you got the animated spray if you made top 1000 or master or whatever, and it will tell you for every season. So it's kind of like a badge of honor thing that you can tell, like, yo, I'm an OG, and be like, psst, you put the spray down, season 1 anime, you're like, oh, you've been playing since back then. Okay, I get you. We're really about it. Like that would be kind of cool to have in fighting games.
I wouldn't
right?
know. I don't level up in that game.
Yeah, I know. I know, dog. I wasn't picking on you, I swear. So that's all we have for Street Fighter 6. We do have a couple ins and outs and things to kind of finish up on, but let's get right into it with some DNF. DNF Duel has some news, kind of not news.
Nah, dude, I can burn through this shit real quick.
Mezzo, what we got?
You don't have to watch it. It's a 30-minute video telling new players to go play DNF Duel, and talking about how they had the director of Dungeon Fighter Online who also directs DNF Duel's content. I can tell you now, that's very subjective how you look at content, because he talked about Japan having good content and they're getting new stuff. I just personally feel like it was kind of like a little bit of side eye, spit in the face, but at the same time, it was kind of nice that they're still being transparent, that they want to support the game for a very long time, and they're treating it like how they did Dungeon Fighter Online. And for those that don't know, Dungeon Fighter Online has been out for like 18 plus years, maybe more.
What?
So
has it been that
it's
long?
like 20, it's like 20 something then. I was playing it when I was like 13, 14, maybe a little bit younger.
It came out in 2005. It was 18 years, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's good that they're showing the support, but if you guys know anything about Dungeon Fighter Online, content kind of comes out slow as shit. So the fact that the same director is doing this, expect content to come out slow as shit. We probably might get additional story slow as shit down the road, like 2 or 3 years. I can't tell you that this was worth watching. It was almost like a joke that they even came on the stage.
Spent the time.
Instead. It was 30 minutes of you showing me 10 minutes of Battle Mage, which there was no new content. Same thing with Brawler. No new content because we already have the character. We got to hear what characters they like.
We got a new stage.
Oh, yeah,
we got a new stage. Yeah.
The Meister Laboratory, which is, it's great. I love this stage because playing it in DFO is fun because it's meant for big bosses. I like stages, but guess what? It just felt like they were dropping the ball through this whole 30 minutes of telling us how... Okay, to sum it up, they basically said 100% of the time, hey guys, we really like this game. We really supported it. We want to keep supporting it. That's awesome. We think new players should play the game because it's really fun and exciting. And we try to implement the same things from DFO and translate it to Dungeon Fighter Online on DNF Duel so that people can see the excitement. And they just kept repeating that shit. And I'm sorry, it's great that you're transparent, but I don't care about what your favorite character is in this game. I don't care about how, you put love and energy into the game, guess what? You're missing a lot of other things. That's all I'll say.
Yeah,
But it just was a lackluster.
You know what? Better that than them saying we're dropping this shit. See y'all later, and that's it.
I mean, I would rather
hit it with the Spider-Man. See you later.
They didn't talk about Arc Revo. They didn't talk about Season 2. They didn't talk about the transparency of how they're going to implement new additional content to the game outside of characters, stages, and the new mechanics that we already have. I just felt like it was kind of a big ball drop in a section where they could have actually did a lot. Like, hell, Dragon Ball says for a long time they're going to keep implementing, rollback, but
soon,
people keep going when
I
gotta keep announcing these new things.
I got a better chance of finding 7 magical orange balls and making a wish come true before
we got a better chance of Sam Show coming out with rollback before any of this stuff.
But on top of that, that's not the only game Arcs has been in the works with. We've got Uni 2 in here. There is the beta that's actually gonna be coming out on November 17th and it's taking between November 17th and the 20th on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Steam Bros. We lost. We will be crying. So unless you have a PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, you're not gonna be able to play it. Kaguya and Tsurugi will be playable. I know they had another character that they announced, started with a K, but he will not be playable in this build, obviously. But remember, if you haven't already, put that on your calendar so you actually can sit down and play it. PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, once again, you need to... Kuan, thank you. It started with a K. I was like, could not remember.
I was told.
And going with what Static kind of said earlier, right, on development and such, Grand Blue. No big, not say no big surprise, but it is it's kind of happened. So the initial release date is actually going to get pushed. So instead of being November 31st, the end of this month, it will be happening December 14th. Just 2 weeks with early access happening on the 11th. They've showed the details as to why all these extra modes and these extra things that they've or these extra mechanics and such have kind of messed with some of their other modes, I guess in some way. So they needed the extra 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks. I wouldn't sweat it too badly, to be honest. Still just in time for some Christmas break grind for sure. I don't think it's really going to affect any majors at that close. It's only 2 weeks, so I wouldn't think it would affect them anyway, outside of having maybe being a tournament that has the first Grand Blue event. I don't think I could think of any off the top of my head. But hey, 2 weeks. So once again, December 14th, put it on your calendars. Get ready for that. We should still get a beta, though. I don't think they said anything about their beta being any kind of actually delayed. So
to my knowledge,
so we can at least look forward to that. Keep us busy. And with that, oh my God, we forgot to add this at the end. Okay, sorry, super fast. We were just talking about mods earlier, and in the chat, funny enough, we were talking about some mods. This is probably one of the dopest mods out there for Strive. Mezza's covered Jujutsu Kaisen and stuff for some of the new games and all that. All I gotta know is if you've watched the show or read the book, you know who this guy is. You know this guy is a fucking problem for anybody. But to see him actually in Strive is dope. So we got Toji, and he actually is a skin for Johnny, which is also the more
I think
awesome.
It's perfect.
It actually is pretty perfect. It actually once again is one of those mods that just makes a lot of sense. So shout outs to Man Made. That's with 2 E's. On Twitter, it's Man Made with 2 E's and a 0 at the end on Twitter. You guys can check this out. It is on Game Banana, where you guys can go download it. I'm assuming for free. Yep, I'm pretty sure there's nothing there to it, but Toji looks sick. It makes sense for it to being with Johnny. He is menacing. I can't wait to see the color changes, the color palettes and such, the swatches we'll have here. He looks dope. And if you don't know who this character is, like Static over here, go watch it or go read it. Shit is fire.
Just watch
fire.
That's what I could suggest it for people is just go watch the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero movie.
Yeah.
Is
it the Zero movie or season 2?
Zero movie.
Okay.
Season 1. Watch season 1, then watch the movie, then watch season 2. You actually watch the first half of season 2 because that will lead into the movie, and then you can watch the rest of season 2, part 2.
There you go.
So the first one's 4 or 5 episodes. So yeah.
All right, so peep that out. That shit is dope. Once again, shout out to Man-Made for some awesome mods that we will always support here, no matter what. I like how Arxis has all these incredible mods and they don't say shit about it. They're like, whatever, go nuts. It has some of those meme-tastic mods you could ever think of, and they're just like, fuck it, let's do it. All right, so with that, guys, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us. That is going to be it for this episode of Double Tap. We appreciate all you guys once again hanging out with us for another episode. I know it was a little later this week, but hey, we had, like I said, Halloween, had to get into the candy. It is what it is. But all love once again. Make sure to follow us at Double Tap FGC on all social media platforms. Check us out, of course, on YouTube at Double Tap FGC. And if you haven't already, once again, we're going to have a poll up on Spotify for what your latest thoughts are on the latest Guilty Gear DLC characters. So make sure to go check it out there. Make sure to follow my awesome host here. We've got Static Gorilla over here at Static Gorilla on all social media platforms. He'll also be probably, even if you tag him right now, he'll probably be asleep. This man's about to pass out. He's been just hitting the roller coasters. But what else are you doing this week?
There should be Marvel this weekend. That'd be great.
Ooh, okay.
But yeah, other than that, I should probably catch up on some horror games, which I totally missed.
Yep, till 'tis the season, man. Even though, what's her name? Mariah's set free, and we're just gonna hear Christmas songs. Remember, you still got some time between that. And we got Meza, of course. Yeah, she is free. And we got Meza at Meza FGC on all social media platforms once again, and no longer on Kick, but also now on Twitch again.
Back to Twitch, boys and girls. We're doing it all again. Back to Twitch. Basically, I'll be doing my own streams again, while also on top of that doing DFO streams. I cannot reveal anything for Neopol yet. I will reveal that next episode. But more or less, yeah, I'll be doing my tournaments also, as well as commentating for the DFO finals. That will be coming up sometime down the road in November. And maybe the F1 championships for them. Other than that, yeah, I'll be back. I'll stream Farlight 84, and I'll be streaming a bunch of other games. It did hit Grandmasters.
Hey, there you go. Clout. All the clout. He's just swimming in it.
I'm so important now.
Make sure to follow me at CrashTagVS, of course, on Twitter. I'm usually behind the Double Tap FGC Twitter page as well. And you guys can support, of course. Oh, actually, also make sure our Discord, mash.gg/Discord. Come join us there. We're going to be throwing up some questions there. Our awesome community active over there. Some great talks, some great articles. Anything you want to get involved with, talk to us. Let us know right there on that Discord. It's the best way to check us out. And you guys can tag us on any of our social media platforms to say what's up. You guys can support free of charge. Once again, liking, retweeting our tweets when we go live, our postings. We're always lurking. We're always, we're in all. Listen, we're also, on the Double Tap Twitch page. I lurk everywhere. A lot of us are just jumping around stream saying what's up. We love all kinds of content creators, all that good stuff. So, if you see us, come say what's up. We're always open to talking to people. We appreciate also, actually, and finally, shout outs. I meant to set this early on. Shout outs on Reddit. We had someone actually posting us up on Reddit.
While you're looking for that, I wanted to shout out First Attack. This happened this weekend. Looks like they had a really good, successful event. And Meza, I don't know if you went, but you were in the area.
No.
Still, First Attack was dope.
First Attack was dope. Yeah, shout outs to Mono getting third in his own tournament, and the crowd being hyped with him being third. That's wild. But yeah, so actually, well, like I said, wanted to give a quick shout out to, because I had to post it up over here. Shout out to Stud Hauser on Reddit. There was just a conversation going on, and he posted up, talking about Max's podcast, and then he actually posted up about us. He's just started listening. He don't know us. If you like the show, you're gonna continue to listen. You're gonna know us a lot better. But appreciate you always showing us some love out there. Once again, I told you we was gonna shout you out, and we did. But all love, thank you for doing that. Like I said, we lurk around a lot of these different forums and such. We like to be involved all the way through. So don't be too surprised if one of us decides to say what's up to you, or the Double Tap account will say what's up, like, retweet, or hit you up, or something like that. But all love once again for everyone that's listening. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We'll be live at our normal time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/Double Tap FGC. And with the new episode every Tuesday. Thanks again, guys. I know long-winded ending, but that's it. Go enjoy your candy comas. I hope you didn't get any fruit or any rocks or anything like that. But that's gonna be it for us this week. We'll be live next week. All love, and don't eat too much candy. Still gotta be doing this. Later.